Today I want to talk to you about our what is going to be our ultimate yardstick of judgment. What we will be judged by at the end of the day. We're all living our lives and we're all running this race, and we're all trying to be successful in life, or to gain an education, or to have a wonderful family, and to be successful, and to be great, to be rich, to be prosperous, and we're looking for different things on a daily basis, and everybody, all the 6 billion people on the face of the earth, are running up and down, either scattered, either in their mind or physically, looking for something. And but at the end of the day, how are we going to be judged? How are we going to be assessed? How are we going to be judged at the end of the day? What is the most objective yardstick by which a person or each one of us will be judged after we leave this world? I'm not talking about just how God will judge us, but how will our contemporaries judge us? How will our families judge us? How will our friends judge us? How will the society and the city and the community that we live in judge us at the end of the day after we finish our life journey? Well, what I discovered, that the ultimate yardstick for judgment, for which all of us will be judged after we finish our work here on earth, is that we're going to be judged by how much a steward we were. By the ability that we had to be able to serve other people. How much did we give to others? I think that's going to be the ultimate yardstick by which we're going to be judged when we leave this world. How much of yourself were you able to invest in other people? How much of good did you do to others? What are the changes you brought about to your community, to the people around you, to your family, to your friends, to your colleagues, to your contemporaries? So the yardstick of our life, of judging us, of our judging our lives, will be how much we succeed as a steward. How much have you succeeded as a steward on in your daily life? Well, continue. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful day. I'm talking about the yardstick by which we are going to be judged at the end of the day. What is one single thing that is going to be considered by the time that when we die, when I die, when you die, and friends begin to come to say the last word at our obituary or at our funeral? What are they going to be saying? What are they going to be looking at? And let me tell you what. People are going to look at just one thing. How much did you and I succeed in being a steward? How much did we succeed in serving others? Well, most people don't even think about such a question when they are alive. When they are alive, they are busy living for themselves. But the real test of a man's life is how much he succeeds in serving others, in living not for himself, but how much he succeeds in putting himself second place and putting others above himself. How much did he succeed in investing his life in others, in the world around him? But for us to be able to do that, we must first of all consider that we don't really own what we possess. Of course, we all possess different things. We possess gifts, we possess abilities, talents, we possess our body, we possess our beauty, we possess our abilities, we possess different things. But we must remember that those things that we possess, those things that we have, don't really belong to us. We don't own them. We were entrusted with them. We were entrusted by God. God entrusted those things into our hands. We don't own what we seem to possess. We don't own them. We own them to somebody else. We own them to God Almighty. God is the owner of those gifts, and He will demand for responsibility. He will demand for accountability of all those things that you are entrusted with. All those things that you think you own, your education, your brilliance, your intelligence, your knowledge, your wealth, your money. God expects you to use them for His purpose. God expects you to serve with them. That's why one day it will stop you on the way to heaven, and it will say, now, what did you do with those things I trusted into your hand? Let's talk more about it. Hello. Well, greetings to, welcome to another wonderful day that we're talking about the yardstick of assessing our lives at the end of the day. How will we be assessed when we die? What is one single quality that people will use to measure the life of everybody, whether here or in Africa or in America or in Europe, anywhere you are? What is that one single quality that people are looking for when they come to bid you bye-bye? When in your last last day on earth, on your last day on earth. Well, it's what I've said. The point I've made is that one quality is going to be stewardship. How much a steward have you succeeded in becoming? How much have you succeeded in making yourself be relevant to others? How much a steward have you succeeded in making? How much a servant have you succeeded in making yourself? So this reminds me of a story that Jesus told us about. It's somewhere in Luke chapter 12 when he told a story of a rich man that was accumulating wealth and was gaining. That man has got some gifts to make money. God gave him the gifts, God gave him the talents, God gave him the strength, God gave him the energy, but he thought they all belong to him. That's the mistake we often make. We think that those things that we possess belong to us. No, actually, God will require that we give a report back to him at the end of the day. So this man gained a lot of wealth, an awesome, a large amount of wealth. But at the end of the day, God, the owner of life that gave him the life in the first place, came to him and stopped him and said, because the man had said, well, it's time for me to retire now because I've piled up so much wealth. It's time for me to enjoy the fruit of my labor. And just as he said that he was about to go and begin to enjoy what he had worked for all these years, God told him, no, I'm not going to allow you to do that because I'm still in charge. And God took his life that day. And the accusation or the charge that God had against him was that, well, I gave you the ability to make wealth. I gave you the ability to gain riches, but you didn't use that for the purpose for which I designed it. You didn't use that to gain, eternal values. You didn't use your wealth as a servant. You didn't see yourself as a steward. You actually piled up those wealth for yourself. And because of that, I will not allow you to enjoy it. And then I will still even condemn you to hell because you did not realize that the things that you possess you don't own, and that what you possess are supposed to be used as a means to be a servant, a better servant, to serve other people. So that is a major lesson for us, that what we possess we're supposed to use to serve people. All right, God bless. Well, the story of that man that I spoke about yesterday, the man that piled up all the wealth for himself and was telling his soul to enjoy it, and God never allowed him to, and took his life before he could enjoy it. It's a lesson to us that actually in life we are not supposed to. Life is given to us as a service. Life is not given to us to amass wealth. Life is not given to us just to attain success or to strive for achievements or for great results. Those things have their places. Those things could they could be a tool, they could be a means that we use to promote the service of man, the service of God. But that is not the primary objective for which we were sent to this world. You could gain wealth to be able to use it as a stepping stone to fulfilling God's will, to serving man and God. But if you hold on to wealth too much, and you begin to use men as a means of gaining wealth, you begin not to, you turn it around, you flip it around, you will not be serving men anymore, but men will be serving you. And that is not the way it's supposed to be. So what that lesson is, what that parable of Jesus is telling us is that don't hold to anything in life, and that those things fly away. Those things could be withdrawn from you. They could be removed from you. They could be taken from you at any time. Anything that you value more than God, anything that you value more than God's purpose, anything that you value more than accomplishing and fulfilling God's will, you can lose it. You can lose it very fast. You can lose it easily. You can lose those things just like that, because that's not what you are meant to live for. We are not meant to live for the blessings. We are not meant to live for the achievements. We are not meant to live for the success. But the successes are supposed to be a means that will promote us to be able to fulfill God's will and purposes on earth, which is to serve humanity and to serve the Creator. So if you are holding on to love of women or men, you will lose it. If you are holding up too much to money, you will lose it. Or wealth, fame, you will lose them. The only thing that's worth holding on to is God. And those other things that God gave us, use them to serve God and to serve humanity. Hello, everybody. We continue to talk today about the fact that we're going to be judged just by one thing when we die. And that is going to be, to what extent have we succeeded as a steward? To what extent have you and I succeeded? Have we succeeded as a steward? So our focus in life should be shifted from amassing to distribution. Our focus should be from taking, receiving, into giving. Our focus should be from seeking our gain into giving or being a source of blessing. So our focus should be shifted from being blessed into being a blessing to others. So it is important for us to know that we all could be a blessing to others, no matter what we have or how little we think we have. Sometimes we think that, I don't really have anything to give to others, and that I don't deserve to, I don't have what to give to others. No, we all have what to give to others. It's just about our mentality. If your mentality, your mindset is directed at giving, you will find something to give, just like Mother Teresa did. Mother Teresa was not a woman of great wealth when she went to Calcutta, but she had a heart to give. So the heart to give attracts everything else and gives you the provision to give eventually. So even if you don't have anything to give, you have laughter, you have smile, you have an embrace, you have two hands, you have kindness, you have a heart. If you have the heart. So the question we're saying is that live your life to be a person that is a giver. Live your life in a way that you are focused on giving to others, on being a blessing to others, on releasing the gift of God, on being a channel of blessing to others, rather than seeking to amass for yourself, rather than seeking to take for yourself. Rather seek to give to people, seek to be a source of blessing. And that is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. That is what will remain when your life and our lives on earth comes to an end. People will judge you by how much you have succeeded in being a servant or a steward of God's resources. Hello, everybody. Coming to the end of this week, today is Saturday, I want to again tell us that we are judged by one thing: how much we succeed in being a servant, being a steward of God's resources. The word steward is not the same as being a servant. The word steward is being like a manager. That a manager is a better word today. Manager is a word that is more commonly used today. That is the person that is responsible in distributing equally according to instruction what the owner puts in his possession. So we are God's managers. God has placed a lot of things in our possessions. God has placed in our possessions what we personally have. God has placed in our possessions things that we have gained, things that we worked for. God has put in our possessions people, a lot of opportunities. And but one thing that is important to know and to note is that those things that we have, we don't really own them. We are stewards of those things. We are managers. So everything that you have, all your money, they are not yours. You are supposed to be asking God for permission and for God, and for God's direction, for God to give you His direction on how, in particular, He would like you to spend the money. He actually has to direct you. You are supposed to just be fulfilling His will. You are only supposed to be fulfilling what He says and how He directs you. So, it's not like I'm the owner, I do anything I like with it. If you live your life like that, then you miss out on God. And then you will not be remembered for anything tangible. For us to be remembered for something tangible, we need to make sure that we actually submit our will to God, we submit ourselves to God, and we let Him know that, Father, you see my heart, you see everything I own, that I am only a steward to you. I'm only distributing what you have according to your instructions. So for us to really live a happy life, a fulfilled life, we must make sure we let God take total possession, total control of all our being, knowing that they all belong to Him. Even our body, everything we have belongs to Him, and we're supposed to use them according to His bidding and to His. Hello, everybody. Well, today is the final day of talking about how we are going to be assessed, how we are going to be valued by men and by God by the time we finish our life journey here on earth. And the point is, only one yardstick, only one point, only one values will stand out. People will ask to know what you have done for humanity, what you have done for humanity, what you have done for humanity. What have you done for God and for humanity? That is a major question, because we all are here not to take from life, but to give to life. We are not supposed to subtract from life. We are supposed to add to life. So and it doesn't really matter how much you have. What matters is how much you serve. It doesn't matter how little you have. What matters is how effective you are able to use that little resource to do God's will for man. How much you succeed in fulfilling God's will, but God's will is always connected to man. God's will is always connected to humanity. And that's why He made us human, so that we might be humanly with other people, so that we might be able to bring God's blessings, God's touch of love, God's touch of compassion, God's touch of kindness to other people. Well, there was a story in the Bible that is called the story of the Good Samaritan. And the story of the Good Samaritan talks about the Samaritan man that was supposed to be an ungodly person, but he had a heart of a steward. So he had a heart of a servant, and that is what God appreciates. So even though he was like an unbeliever in our own understanding today, but God actually preferred him to believers. You remember there was a priest that went by and a Levite that went by, and God never commended them. God actually condemned those ones that because they didn't have a heart of compassion, a heart of a giver. They didn't position themselves to give rather than to take. They were rather in a hurry to go to church, so to be blessed. They want to take. Both the priest and the Levite, they were focusing on receiving something from God in the church, so they were in a hurry. But the Samaritan was willing to give of himself, what he had and what he didn't have, to anybody that was in need. It was a blessing to humanity, and as a result, it was better appreciated, more remembered in history than all the other nameless priests and Levites that nobody knows who they are today. And so you will only be remembered for what you bring to humanity. God bless.